Today I got the opportunity to shoot one of the, oops, I kicked the camera, one of the actual staff at Springs Road Gun Club, their personal handgun. It was a Glock 17 with an RMR, Churchicon RMR. Here I'm going to go through a list real quick of everything that's done to it. So it's a Gen 3 G17. It has a KE arm slide. He got that slide so that it was pre-milled for the red dot. It's got the Trigicon RMR, and 7 MOA dot, so it's a little bit thicker. I know there's a lot of controversy about, like, you should really run it at 3 for that thinner point so it doesn't take up so much of your sight or whatever they say, but I really like the 7, especially for someone with bad eyesight. That really helped me a lot. It's got an O-light, and then he's got a bar that he replaced in the trigger so that it was a little bit smoother and crisp. But yeah, so fired that today. Felt really good. Biggest thing about it was the difference of having an RMR. So this was my first handgun I got to fire with an RMR on it. Initially, I will say that it was hard for me to draw and then immediately see that dot. Like, I had to adjust. But a lot of the problem is I didn't ask him before I fired it where it was zeroed to. So he had it zeroed at 15 yards, and the furthest I sent the target back was 10 yards. So once I moved it back to 10 yards, I was a lot more spot on. It was a lot easier to quickly draw and see that dot where it needed to be, because I noticed that I was aiming down a lot at closer yardage, causing me to shoot really low. That was my fault for not asking, because obviously, you know, your handgun's going to fire, that dot's going to fire where it's zeroed in at. And so because I didn't know and I was putting it up at super close ranges, I was off. Once I moved the target back to about 10 yards, it was a lot easier to pull straight up and be like right on target. And I will tell you, it did help me draw to the point where I was ready and on target once I moved to 10 yards. And I feel like my grouping wasn't too terrible for a 10-yard grouping. Altogether, it was a different experience, and I feel like if you train with a red dot, it would be liable for, you know, you to have that as your carry. Now, comparison of Gen 3 versus Gen 4, the Gen 3 had that little trigger piece in there. I forget the name of it. Not the actual trigger assembly, but the bar that connects to it, that was replaced. And compared to the Gen 4, the Gen 3's trigger felt a lot better with just that little bar in there. So Brett did say that typically the Gen 3's tend to take a little bit better to modifications like that than the Gen 4s. Not entirely sure what he meant by that, but I'm assuming it's just by how well it fires and, you know, operating good together and things like that. But altogether, shooting with a red dot sight on a handgun, I really enjoyed the experience, and I think that with enough time with one, it could be a very efficient way to carry. I don't know if I'd put one on like my 43X, but I think if I got like a Glock 19, I'd get like a MOS or whatever model to where I could put a sight on there and practice with it, because I think somebody, especially with me, like having bad eyesight, that's a really good option to be able to help you zero in faster. The option of the O-light on there, I did like the O-light, of course, because I have an O-light. He had the full-sized one, so his is much higher lumen, I'm sure, but that's, you know, pretty standard accessory. And then what else did he have on there? His slide. So the slide felt really good. The serrations were good on it. The only reason he even got the slide was so he could mount the RMR on there. So it didn't have any other fancy cuts or anything like that going on. It was pretty close. The only thing it did have front slide serrations, but he said himself that he doesn't use them. He just racks it like if he would normally. So, however, compared to a factory Gen 4 and his, I liked his a lot. It felt really good in the hand. I feel like I was on target pretty good. I wasn't quite used to it yet, but altogether I was very impressed with it. It shot really well. So if you've got a Glock 17 or something and you want to put like an RMR sight on there, I don't feel like it's a bad option. They do make holsters that support that, so if you are local and you have one and you want a holster that'll make sure that it supports your optic and everything, hit up Springs Road Gun Club, because they make holsters. They made one for my 43X that I will do a video on eventually. I'm waiting a little bit to do that, but yeah, so Glock 17 with some parts on there shot really well. I appreciate the opportunity to do that. Check out his Instagram. I've got a link in the description below. One thing I almost forgot to mention, it had the not extended back on it like the 17 Gen 4 that I shot. So it felt a lot better in the hand as well, and it wasn't as hard for me to keep a good grip on it. Yeah, other than for that, awesome handgun. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're looking to get like an RMR or any of the accessories you saw in this video, they're good options. It felt really good in the hand. No malfunctions. I'm sure he's tested that handgun like thoroughly, and he knows that there's no malfunctions in it because I believe that's his carry gun. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I had a lot of fun filming it. I got to check out a Glock that had different kind of modifications compared to mine, and it opened my eyes up to a little bit of different things. Like maybe I do need to look into getting like a 19 MOS and throwing a Trichicon on there, just for my own personal experience. There's also another one, I'd have to look it up, but there's another red dot sight for handguns that kind of interests me. I don't think I want to throw one on the 43X though. I think I like the factory sights the way they are, but that's not to say in the future I won't get it done. It's just because I've already ordered this slide without it. I don't think I want to send it off and get it milled, and I don't want to order another slide for this handgun just because I've already bought one. So maybe I'll do that on the future build or something like that. I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and if you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I plan to do future giveaways and stuff as well. I've already done one, so keep an eye out for Instagram posts, Twitter posts of giveaways and stuff that I do that work with the range down the road, you know, and try to Springs Road Gun Club. They help me a lot with a lot of different things, so yeah, I'll catch y'all later.